Hey, what's going on, guys? It is your boy Cakeman here, and we're going to go over the Russia deck today. So I really enjoy where the Russians are at in this game. I think they're honestly quite strong, have some really awesome units, and we're going to go ahead and break that down. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So I'm going to try to keep this video a little bit shorter than the last one. Try to keep it around 10-ish minutes, and we're going to start with Recon. So we got the VDV Sniperi. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. And I like to go with the suppressed. Suppressed is nice. Just kind of helps keep them concealed a lot better than if you were to go loud and reveal their position, which you don't want to do. Oftentimes you want to hold fire, but they can be airdropped. They have the sprint capability and can laser designate. So very strong for obvious reasons, because you can get some indirect fire on target, and they have the best stealth in the game, which I'm not going to go into exactly how stealth works, but maybe I'll go over that in another video. It's a very useful stat, especially on these reconnaissance units. I just transport him in one Typhoon, nothing too crazy, just like a Humvee equivalent without smokes, and it has a cord HMG, just in case I don't want to move him by helicopter. Next, we've got the VDV Spetsnaz, very solid squad. You can get them with a Metis or with a thermobaric launcher, similar to Wargame Red Dragon, if you guys ever played that. And this is really just anti-infantry, but yeah, I just find ATGMs being very strong because armor really is the meta. If you can not get air spammed, pay the air tax, if you will. So very solid launcher with 5 of the rounds in it and 800 meters of range. And they're suppressed VSS and a cord 6P68 with what also looks like a suppressor on the front there. Oh, that's one of the VSSs. Yeah, very cool. I've got one BMD 4M. It can be transported via helicopter, which is super cool. And it might be able to be airdropped, but don't quote me on that. So that's kind of why I threw it in there. It's got a decent tow, solid anti-tank gun, and a 30mm gun. So yeah, can't complain. Next up, we have the Razvedka, super strong squad. 48 grenade launcher rounds, so very good at even dealing with infantry. Solid rocket launcher with the RPG-7D3, and looks like they also get to rock with suppressors for 5 extra points, so why not? I've got the Orions here. I actually kind of like the Orions, but I think there might be a lot of people that don't. They do get targeted pretty easily by enemy Patriots, or long-range anti-air batteries, but if you can get them through the enemy line, these things can absolutely take a toll on the enemy's back line. So yeah, might be worth checking out, but definitely not mandatory. And then we have the tow jeeps. I mean, you could even get rid of one of these and get 2 more tow jeeps, which is not a bad idea. They run the Metis, very, very strong, just sweeping the enemy's left and right flanks with how wide the maps are. Okay, next we're going to get into the infantry. VDU cornet, a must-have. You get 2 cornets per squad, 1600 meter range, and 6 rounds. So basically you get to double tap every single tank with just 1 squad. So if you have 2 squads, that's 4 ATGMs flying at a tank all at once. And I run them in the BTRD just because it's got 10 seats and 5-man squads, so you can transport 2 squads at once. Very strong. Next I have the PZRK Verba, also very strong, much better than any other man-pad squad in the game. You can see that they've got 2100 meters of range, which is quite nice. 2 launchers and 6 rounds here. So yeah, cannot complain there. Best man-pad squad in the game. And you can even run them in a K16, B10, or T15. Totally up to you guys. And I'm going to kind of talk about that here in a second. These with the engineering, or I guess like an engineering squad, or engineer squad. They've got the RPG-7V2, similar to the Razvedka. Honestly, very similar kit overall to the Razvedka. I believe it's just a bigger squad. Oh, get a phone call. Just a bigger squad, and yeah, overall very strong. You get them in the T15 Barbarous, which is a game changer, honestly. The 30mm Bushmaster is extremely good, or not Bushmaster, what am I talking about? This is Russia. And then the cornets that also double tap. You can see that there's 2 tubes. Very solid anti-everything, and it's all mounted on a T14 chassis, so tons of armor there. This thing is awesome. Has an APS with 4 shots and 2 smokes, so this thing is a beast and a half. You can get it with the Kinjal module, if I'm saying that right, but honestly I think the boomerang module is better because there's no reload time on the 30mm and you get 2 more toes. So yeah, absolutely killer. The most strokey, I would recommend getting as many as you can. The launcher has 1,000 pen, so that's extremely strong, and they get 4 launchers, 8-man squads, very good, and you can get them in the boomerang with 2 cornets and a 30mm. So these IFVs are absolutely awesome, kind of expensive, but they can really change the tide of a battle. So yeah, we've gone through a lot. The Recon Infantry squad, our tab, is very strong on Russia here, as you guys have probably seen already. You get the T14 Armada, very expensive, but a very strong tank. Could be absolutely devastating to the enemy team. And yeah, you really just can't go wrong with it. The reload time is very solid, 6 to 7 seconds. Like if you go over to the arena, you see it's about a second later, and you go over to the T80, which has 6 to 7 seconds. So I believe the T14 and T80 can compete pretty well in just a standoff in terms of fire rate versus American tanks. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But yeah, T14 overall, very solid, 4 APS, 2 smokes. Just similar to the Barbarous with a big old gun. T90M, I like to run this as a cheaper tank. This is really my main battle tank here, and I keep the T14 in my back pocket if I have the points for it. But this saves me 70 points. Same amount of APS, 2 smokes, and just a little bit slower fire rate, a little bit less armor, but really can be a strong backbone to your armor pushes. And then the T80UM as kind of the filler, but a very strong tank comparable to the M1A1HC that the Americans have. And I would not sleep on it. I preach that the APS system is just so strong right now, so definitely recommend running that. Notice that all of my vehicles in the tank tab, except for the BMPT, which isn't really a tank. I guess it is extremely armored. I'm not sure what kind of chassis it's mounted on. Looks almost like a T72 chassis almost. Yeah, this thing is a beast. 1 smoke, so not as survivable in terms of I guess elusiveness with APS and just popping smoke, but it is a beast when it gets up in the infantry. And I mean, I even gotta explain why. 4 attack at ATGMs, and then if you're not running 2 grenade launchers, you're wrong. Run the grenade launchers, they're awesome. A beast of an autocannon. This thing is kind of anti-everything, so freaking great if you can get it up to where it needs to be. All right, so next we're going to get into the support tab. Running the Tor M2. I really like this. Really cool how it shoots. It goes up and then flies sideways. If you guys have ever seen a Tor shoot, like online or in another game, really cool. I run it with the upgrade package because 16 missiles is better than 8, obviously. But no, you just don't have to get logistics to it as often. And yeah, really awesome. Because it can just keep on intercepting enemy helicopters, planes, and enemy intercontinental ballistic missiles, minus the intercontinental. We don't have those yet. So yeah, that's a real solid piece. Strela, I like the Strela with just the base package. You can get this one for 5 more points, but you lose out on range and damage. So that's why I just run the regular Strela package. With the man pads and the wide assortment of other supports that you have here, like the Tor and the I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that thing. This thing is awesome. I'm gonna try it. Derivaticia. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. The 57 millimeter on this thing is a beast. It's also radar. Complements the Strela and the Tor very well to fill your AA net. You have all of these up with man pads and ASF. Nothing's getting through. I love to run it with the gun. I think this is honestly one of the best AA pieces in the game. 2 smokes, amphibious, pretty solid move speed, and the gun is great on this thing. It's 57 millimeter, so it can slam ground targets, helicopters, planes. I'm not too sure how great it is for missiles. I really haven't paid attention because usually my Tor is intercepting it, but it is possible. Buratino, great for just destroying buildings, getting enemies out of place, and causing them to panic. Does a top-down attack, I believe. I don't think it's a cluster munition. No, it's not. This thing can topple buildings pretty solid for your pushes, and pretty good armor. Not the best of range, but yeah, it can definitely help with the push. You have your 2 S-35, very similar to your Paladin that you'd have on the Americans. Very strong, 12 guided munitions, unlike the 3 Excalibur rounds that you get per Paladin, so I like that a lot. Yeah, very strong. And I run it with the extended range because you get the guided munitions there, laser guided. And same with the Nana. This is a short range artillery piece. Laser munitions I think are very strong if you can pull them off. They're definitely not a give me because you need to have a reconnaissance unit with a laser or an airplane with a laser on target, but when it works great. And then this supply truck, the Cam AZ or Kamaz VDV supply truck, this thing is actually extremely useful because you can use it in lieu of your IFVs and transports, or use it as its own transport and put supply in it, and it can be airdropped. This thing I would recommend having 4 all the time. It's awesome. Definitely a go-to for me. Next we'll get into the helicopter tab. Mi-8 MTB cargo, no upgrades, just strictly transporting troops, has 21 seats, decent speed. Not the best optics, but it gets the job done for 100 points, and you can refund it. Mi-26, I wasn't sure if I was going to like this thing, and I freaking love it. Can hold 20,000 heavy lift weight and 85 seats in this thing, so you can transport just about anything that can be airlifted. Just super awesome. Love that thing. You'll definitely see that in a lot of playthroughs that we have, or games that we play. I've got the Mi-35M kind of just for an opener. It can be used kind of in the mid game if you'd like. It's got 40 rocket pods and 4 Iglas. That's kind of why I run it. Some decent optics and speed, and can be used to move troops as well. So kind of a jack of all trades, master of none here. You can outfit it quite well here. A little bit more survivability with some countermeasures, or electronic countermeasures, I believe. Or maybe it's like a heat shield, I'm not sure. Oh no, that's not a heat shield. It's just some type of disruption system that I guess causes infrared to probably miss a little bit more. You can throw on ATGMs, but I prefer to just run it in a cheaper configuration just to help in an opener if I decide to do an air assault. Next we have the Mi-28. Mi-28 is quite solid. This one I actually also use in an opener. I just kind of have both cards depending on how I want to approach the situation. The reason that I really like this one is because it has 2400 optics, so I can really get a feel for what the enemy's doing without having to field an airplane if I don't want to. On here you can see I've got 8 attackers, 4 Iglas. I used to run it with the just 8 Iglas as my purely just opener, but I don't know. I'm kind of in a middle ground in between the two, or if I even really want to field it. So if you were looking to get rid of anything in the helicopter tab, it'd probably be the Mi-28N. That takes us over to the Mi-28NM, probably the best helicopter in the game, purely because of these missiles here. I believe it's just Lemur missiles, and they target everything in the game, and they hit top down, I believe, and they're active. It looks like it doesn't show top down, but I swear they're top down. They hit hard. Anything they hit it's a bad day. and they're fire and forget, so you don't have to maintain line of sight. The reason I don't run 8 is just purely because of cost. 320 points to get this thing fielded is a lot. If you lose it, it's a lot. So I can cut my investment down by 100 points, and I think 4 is more than enough, because if you fire 4, the enemy's probably going to have to do some type of reaction. So at that point, you just pull it to the back, resupply, and go from there, or you can even recall it back to base and refund it for points. Last but not least, we have the air tab. Su-57 is our F-35 counterpart. Very solid plane here. I've currently got it outfitted with R-37s. Very solid. Really long range missiles, outranges anything that the US has, and it's got stealth capabilities. It's got laser, not bad at all, just not a lot of time over target. You can outfit it with some other nice options here: smart bombs, cluster bombs, cruise missiles. Lots of good options here, but that's just kind of what I'm running right now. Going on to the next plane, we have the Su-34. I really like the Su-34, especially in this configuration. Smart bombs are a very good place right now, very strong, and this one I believe could be guided in with a laser too. So yeah, super awesome. 82 damage, can absolutely cripple anything in the game. And then on the inner pylons, you run anti-radiation missiles, so you can provide some close air support while taking out enemy radar, or force enemy radar to be off while you're doing the spotting run. So I think that's super awesome. You can run 2 R-77s in case an ASF is sent out, or if you want to use it to maybe an open, just as a backup plane. Wouldn't really recommend it for an opener, but it's got some defense on itself, so that's pretty nice. Next, we're going to get into a Su-30, very similar to the Su-34, except we're running the Cage-29 ML. Really, we're just using it as a just QRF for an enemy tank. Like if we see an enemy tank that's just out in the open, like a high value target, like a SEP V3 or a T-14, maybe we'll send out this and just destroy it. With 1200 pen, this thing hits like a truck, so can't go wrong with that. And then lastly, we have the Su-35S, just a cheap little ASF. I like the R-27s. They do 19 damage. As you can see, most of these planes only have 20 health, so that can hit really hard. And if you can drop practically any other plane, you're coming out profiting pretty good here, because most people are going to pay more than 235 points for a plane. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that deck overview. Let me know what changes you guys would make. Please feel free to copy it. I think it's extremely good, and I've been enjoying that deck a lot. So I hope I helped you guys out. And if you guys want to see more Broken Arrow content, just let me know down below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you guys around.